Welcome. My name is Trina Wilcox, and this is the FITCAT feature for Run Radio. My guest today is Paul Maness. Welcome.
Hey, well, good to be here.
We have running in common, and unfortunately, we've got something else in common. And it seems that long COVID may be getting the better of our running time. How about you?
Yes, exactly. It's never bounced. I've never bounced all the way back after having it. So I didn't know you were struggling so much as well.
It's been torturous. In fact, we're going on year 3 because I was not even sure what was happening to me at the time. Tell
Wow.
me tell me your story about when you had COVID and then kinda how long it's taking you to try to get back.
Okay. I'll kind of give you the background of where my fitness level was first before this hit. In March of 2020, I'd actually done 2 ultras in one day. It came to about 60 miles, and I was fine. And, just normal tiredness after an ultra or something. And then I PR'd dogwood 25K in September and got my 10K time back down under 38 minutes, and things were going well. And started actually training in October, November for Athens Big Fork. I would do about 300 feet per mile of incline on the treadmill and got up to about 10 miles. And then in December of 2020, I just felt like a light cold. Just didn't feel great, but I was fine. I was able to go do things. And then I had a couple of days where I just really was exhausted. So I just napped and everything. And I said, this is COVID. We've got to figure it out. It's COVID. Um, Lost my sense of smell, but I was actually joking about it. It was kind of fun. I was spraying cologne in the house, aggravating everyone in the house. What's this? Spray some cleaner and the air freshener, and just driving everyone nuts and just laughing. And then I felt better. About a week later, I went to go upstairs and had to stop and catch my breath. Kind of like you see somebody, at the hospital, an older person. Um, and then I started getting weird heart spikes, and that was terrifying. I wouldn't sleep some nights very well, and I didn't know what was going on. And I realized I was having these little like 80 beats per minute in the middle of the night, which is strange. Um, like I'm being active in the middle of the night. And then one day I was sitting at my laptop in my office. I'd come downstairs. I was calm. Start feeling really weird. Look down, and my heart rate's at 147 beats per minute, and then it comes back down. So that's when I went to urgent care, afraid I was having a heart attack. And my doctor said, no activities for you or Lacey until I get heart scans. Heart scan came back normal, still couldn't breathe. This went on for months. And what's terrifying is to ask your doctor, what do you expect? And he says, I don't know. None of us know. How that is. There's no plan for this, and everyone's different. It was like, then it was all the time. And it was like the perfect description is being at elevation. If you've ever been about 10,000 feet, you feel okay, but when you start to move, it's exhausting. I couldn't exercise at all. And you know how when you can't run and you're used to it, it's just beat your head on the wall. I gained about 20 pounds because I just couldn't do anything. And so then I battled that. I was afraid I had COVID lung. I thought, is this, am I going to die? Am I going to just never be active again? That was the fear that, do I have COVID lung, which is supposed to be like emphysema, and then am I going to be on oxygen at 50 years old? And he did a lung capacity test, and that was fine. So that's what was really baffling, is like, everything says I'm fine. Why can't I do anything? And then just as quickly as it came in August, about a week and a half after my lung capacity test, he was going to do a full scan. I just felt better. Now I still can't. Yeah, I mean, it just the breathing trouble stopped. But the only thing I still am frustrated with is I can't go. I can't run like I did. I have moments, but like I was running 4 to 6 miles about 5 days a week, or maybe a long run on the weekends. And I'd be running in the 7s and 8s, and it was comfortable. And now, if I go do 4 miles on Sunday, I may have to walk. My pace is generally in the 10s. I might get down into the 9s if I push. And it's like I just started running, and I've not gotten back. And I haven't done an ultra in almost 3 years now. And I was doing several a year. So that's kind of the story of what happened to me. So,
Yeah, it's heartbreaking. I'm with you. In fact, I had for me, it was 2019 to 2020, that New Year's, I had some time off, felt horrible. I thought, oh man, I'm glad I've got some time off. I've got this horrible cold. And
mhm.
as a runner, you rest, but then you're like, yeah, I've had a cold before. You just hit the ground running in a couple of days, no matter what. So
Yeah, exactly.
I took my couple of days and then tried to push back, and I just never got back. I couldn't, I just could never get back. In fact, when lockdown hit, I thought, okay, well, maybe I can start running some more again to get back because I'm not recovered. Just went downhill, downhill, same thing. Told the doctor, this isn't right. Something's not happening. I'm wheezing when I run or try to run. It just got to the point where they did tests. Everything came back. My heart, my lungs, everything's fine. Finally, earlier this year, Barnes Jewish finally diagnosed me with long COVID. And other than you've got long COVID, there's not much to
Yeah.
do about it.
Isn't
It's
it
just,
crazy to have doctors not have an answer for you?
and
It's
it's
scary.
heartbreaking. I, like you, out every weekend, at a race pretty much if I can. And now if I can get down the road and make it through 3 or 4, that's a victory. And at that, my times are more than 2 minutes off of what used to be a good pace 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And I fortunately I did find a group on Facebook. I'm usually a little reluctant for Facebook groups, but there is a long COVID for endurance athletes group.
Wow.
And folks share some of their stories, many going on 2 and 3 years as well, which I hate that we have to have a group like that, but I'm thankful because it messes with your head too. I don't know about you,
Oh
but
yeah.
I've had some pretty dark times thinking, I don't
Sure.
know what I'm going to do. This is taking my livelihood.
Yeah. I'm not gonna lie. I actually one day after that heart spike, I started bawling in my office. I'm like, am I gonna die? Is my life over as I know it? Am I gonna be walking around with an oxygen tank? To go from that active to that um, was horrifying. And I've actually had some luck using an inhaler. My
Oh,
doctor asked me to use that because Lacey has asthma and she has inhalers. He said, try that. That, like at CrossFit, at least I can go to CrossFit now. I'm not good at everything anymore. And of course, I never was great at CrossFit anyway, but um, I can move better if I take that inhaler. But I know multi-time Ironman that use an inhaler 3 times a day now, and he
oh
never
my
did
gosh.
before COVID. And a multi-hundred miler that isn't running anymore. His heart, he's on a once a month heart visit now. And it's insane. It's just so random, and everybody is different. There's no set pattern of this happens and this happens, this happens. It just stops.
Yeah, and I don't know if, is it gonna come back? Or is this it? And
Yeah.
I keep, I vent and I get upset and my husband David, he's like, well, you can't say you just don't know. So you can't say it's over because you don't
Yeah.
know that either. But man, it's a fight now every day.
And Lacey says she worries every time I go out running because she knows I'm self-competitive. That's how I've always driven myself. And I said, I got to be honest with you, for the first time in my life, it's more about I want to get back to ultras, but I don't know if I'll ever push to get my speed back because with my heart, it's like, am I going to drop over somewhere? Am I going to have a random heart spike when it's already at 100 beats, 150 beats per minute and kill me? So, and I've never lived life by fear, but that's a very real fear. I have a family. And so now I just want to get my mileage back up. And if it's slow, it's slow. And that's, I think, my plan going forward. Just finish some more ultras.
I guess we just have to hang in there. I don't know about you, but I have days where I can't even push. Pushing isn't an option. I go out there and think it's mental. You got to push. You got to, and
Yeah.
my body is not having it. It's just like, okay, I guess I'm walking.
Yeah, that's exactly where I'm at. It's some days it's just I go out and I come back in 5 minutes and tell Lacey, she goes, that was quick. And I went, it's just not
Yeah,
gonna happen today. So
no.
trying to be smart about it. I didn't know you're having such a struggle. So I
Oh,
hate that for you. You were running more than I was. You're running all the time.
it's been bad.
Yeah.
It's been bad. I had a little peak where I was back to 5 and 6 miles.
Hmm.
Didn't last long, and I crashed back down.
That's
And
interesting. I did the same thing. I had that little
yes,
spell where I said it's over. It's over. I'm good. And then right back to it again for like
I
a month.
and people in that group had been calling these a crash. A crash will happen and then happens again. Now, as I was trying to get better, I had COVID again in June. Now, keep in mind, I've got an autoimmune disease and I take medicine that suppresses my immune system. So it's a constant battle trying to figure out,
Oh
well,
my.
do I want to be able to move? So I take
Sure.
this so I can move and live and be active. and then it lowers my immunity even with boosters and being vaccinated. So then one of my COVID doctors suggested to get some antibody therapy. So hopefully I will never get it again, but we just don't know. We live in the most unknowing times medically I've
Yeah,
ever been in.
sure. And now you got monkeypox and whatever else
Yes.
coming down the line,
Yes.
and this thing
So,
mutates and it goes around the vaccines, and
mhm.
yeah, it's
And
never ending.
I'm with you. I had the stretch where I remember I always take the stairs when I'm at the doctor's office. And I
Mhm.
had was something my dad always did. We'd race to see if we could beat the elevator. So it's something I've grown into, always like doing.
Mhm.
Same thing. I was like,
Yeah,
I felt like I had never worked out in my life. And I was thinking, oh my goodness, is this the end? Or is this I have become? Now,
yeah. It's a
fortunately,
new reality, you know?
yeah, I can go upstairs and my fatigue, painful fatigue was another marker that I don't know about you, but in the course of a day, I'd be like, I'm not a napper, but it's nap time.
Yeah,
And
oh,
I
I
would
had
just,
days where I just had to sit down and just go
yes,
to sleep. Even
yes,
middle of the day, like at 2 o'clock, I'd log off from work and go, I gotta go take a nap.
miserable. Yeah. Yeah.
You
And
have the most similar story to mine I've heard. I mean, that's you sound very almost spot on to what I'm going through. And most people, it's just very random. And um, yeah, that's eerie. It's almost comforting in a way to know somebody's having the exact same thing I am, instead of everyone being so different.
yeah, and that's kind of what I'm hoping with this because I feel like there are probably a lot more people in our running community that are don't even realize that this is what they're going through, or just
Mhm.
being suffering without realizing how many people are going through it. And it is comforting to know that, okay, I'm not crazy. I'm feeling this. Someone else is experiencing this, because it really messes with you physically and mentally, at least for me.
Well, and I don't know if you remember, I actually posted about when I realized how bad it was, and I hate posting anything complaining or saying I
Right.
don't feel well or political or anything like that. And I was just, my doctor said, I've got athletes dropping over from COVID, quit running. And so I felt like I had to post that. And when I did, I was having people go, I thought I was the only one that couldn't run right now. And it was really eye opening. And it was also like a public service thing going, guys, the doctors are saying if you have COVID, go easy, don't go out, because people are having heart attacks,
Right.
healthy people are having heart attacks. And so, yeah,
And
it was,
that's one of the things as runners, we are trained, it's in our blood to
yeah,
push. So to
sure.
go out and be like, oh, I have to not push or I
Yeah,
am never going to get move forward. It's definitely like this is the endurance test we never asked for.
exactly. That's a great way to put it. But you're right. We're so used to, I don't feel well. If I can run with this, it'll make me tougher.
Right.
And get out of that mindset to not go out that door. I mean, I couldn't walk the dog around the block. I couldn't do it. And it
Mhm.
was so weird. Still weird.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's what I keep hoping and praying, that they'll come up with something that will, help us all and, get reset, get back to us.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, that's probably the worst part. Is it's like you, it's part of my identity is
mhm,
is being active in the running, and people coming up, hey, are you running this weekend?
mhm,
Or and to say no, I'm not. No, I've got nothing planned for. I'll go do the Bass Pro events this fall, and I'll go slow and I'll enjoy them. But um,
uh,
it is part of your identity.
yeah. I mean, I've had trouble even I can't I can't even look. I mean, I'm happy for my friends, but I had that FOMO.
Mm,
It's been so heartbreaking that it's just
sure.
I don't know.
Oh,
And I'm like, okay, so I did how many races? And I think this year's going to be a zero. I tried one last year and it was a wreck. It was
wow.
horrible. So I was like, oh, well, we'll see.
Yeah.
So,
That's all I've done. I had some, I've been wanting to do Athletes Big for years, and it's 20,000 feet. I forget how many feet of elevation. It's ridiculous. Um, and I've had to cancel the last 2 years, and I want to do the 50K at Dogwood again. I did the 25K and just took my time and enjoyed it. There's these races that I love to do, especially in northern Arkansas. I love the beauty of the races,
mhm,
and to go, am I okay to go out there? I plan to again, but this is almost 2.5 years
mhm.
no ultras for me, and I've got 60 some under my belt between marathons and ultras. We did, Lacey and I did 23 one year, marathons and ultras. Zero. I'm working on year 3, and it's just beat my head on the wall.
Yeah,
It
I'm
really
with
is.
you. I know. How is she doing with it? Did she recover fine? Is she able to be active, or did she have some repercussions as well?
Well, she had actually she had a bad allergy incident to start with before
Okay.
COVID. So she had quit running as much. She was out on a run and came in, and she was anaphylaxis. Like had a whole take her to the hospital.
Oh no.
EpiPen. Yeah, it was terrifying. And so she found out she was allergic to several things, and she already knew she was allergic to pollen and everything. But she had this perfect storm of running in the heat, pollen, and she ate something she didn't know she was allergic to. So she had scaled back her running anyway, and especially in the hot weather. So she's really focusing on CrossFit, and she loves it. And as far as physically, she seems to be okay that way.
Good.
She's had the brain fog though, which
Oh,
has been frustrating with her, where she would go to work and things. I don't know if you know, she's a nutritionalist, and she would go to work, and the simple math stuff became a chore for her for a while.
mm,
And for the most part, she's better, but she's just focusing on CrossFit now. She doesn't know if she'd like to go back and finish her 50 states. She's over like 36 or 37 of the states completed. But then it's like she's wondering if she's ever going to want to risk it as far
yeah.
from her allergy things. And then after having COVID, but she didn't have the physical stuff as bad as I did with COVID, which was shocking with her having asthma, that she didn't have all the breathing issues I did.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
figured, I was terrified for her when COVID broke out. I'm like, you've got all this allergy stuff, you've got asthma, people with lung issues are dying. And then it was me that got hammered, the healthiest person in the house. And,
There's just no rhyme or reason to
there's
it. It
none.
does
It doesn't
not
make,
make sense.
yeah, it doesn't.
And I'm like you. I'm like, I'm not done yet. I still had things that I need to cross off my list. And
Yeah.
I hope
I've
it
got,
can still happen.
I've got races in Colorado I've always wanted to do, the
Hmm.
Imogene Pass and, Pikes Peak. I've never got to do the Pikes Peak when so many people have raved on,
Yeah.
and the rut up in Montana. And I just, because I love being in the mountains, and I'm like, are these going to happen now? Am I going to be a hiker
I
instead of
know.
a
I
runner?
know. I know. Have you noticed if there are any supplements or anything that has seemed to help you, or have you even explored any of that?
Just the inhaler has
The
been the biggest
inhaler.
thing.
Okay.
And I keep wondering, I got about 10 of those pounds off. I keep thinking, I'm starting to realize that's probably not the issue. 10 pounds is a minute and a 5K is the theory, and it's proven to be pretty accurate for me at least. Um, but I knocked 10 of those off, and I'm still not bouncing back. So I'm not thinking the weight's it. But that inhaler, if I hit it before CrossFit or hit it before a run, seems to make a noticeable difference. And a guy I CrossFit with, who's a pretty good. He's an avid mountain biker, beast on a mountain bike, and then he's done some ultras. He came up to me a few weeks ago. We think we both had another round of it, because I like one night I couldn't sleep, and it's like I was on caffeine, and I looked and I was having heart rate spikes in the middle of the night again, 84 beats a minute, 85 beats a minute. And he said, I can't go. And I said, I bet you've got COVID. I said, I'm going through another really bad spell with it. And he said, I've taken the inhaler and it helps. And so that's the one thing I've heard from several people is the asthma inhalers seem to, I forget what, prednisone or whatever it is. I've got it right here. I don't know.
Yeah.
I can't, I can't
Yeah.
see either. And that's not from COVID. I'm just going blind. But the inhaler seems to be a common prescription from the doctors that seem to at least temporarily
Yeah.
help you get active. So
Yeah. We experimented with those before I knew what I had. They tried to tell me it was exercise induced asthma and tried a couple inhalers, but they never really did
yeah,
anything for me. So I'm glad it seems to give you some relief.
yeah.
They tried heart medicine with me. They tried some beta blockers, and now I'm on something, verapamil, that is like a
Huh,
calcium channel blocker, and it seems to help
huh,
a little, but not a lot. But I'll take whatever I can right now.
yeah,
So, and then
sure,
and then
sure.
experimented with. Doing a lot of supplements like CoQ10 and I mean my cabinet is just like a, you know,
Yeah.
Walgreens pharmacy supplement center. It's pretty ridiculous, but I've got hope something will work. But I
Lacey gave
just,
me some of those.
yeah, I just hope something will come with the science and technology soon. So
Yeah, yeah. I'm the same way. But
yeah.
I hate it for you. I had no idea you were struggling so much. I hate that.
Well, and it was so frustrating too to not know what it was for the first couple of years. I kept telling my doctor something's not right. And that's something I want a PSA on is if your doctor's not listening to you and they just keep pushing you off and pushing you off, get another doctor. And that's what I
Yeah.
finally did. I finally got another darn doctor. And it was up to basically us to find a COVID doctor too, because
Mhm.
in defense of the doctors, they're overloaded and they don't know what to do. They're not
Sure.
they've not seen this before, so they're just kind of like, but
Mhm.
when they just want you to live and settle with what you don't know is wrong,
Mhm.
find somebody because I didn't know. I'm like, if this
Sure.
isn't long COVID, what is it then? I need to know. Am I like you're saying, am I gonna fall over from a
Yeah.
heart attack? What's going on?
If you have some rare disease you don't know about that's
Right.
treatable to a point, and is it going to go past that point?
Yeah.
Fortunately, we have a doctor we love and we trust, and he actually he'll bring it up and go, "How's are you having issues with this or that?" And he was very quick very honest with us. He goes, "I don't know what to tell you to anticipate.
Mhm.
I'm pretty sure this is COVID related, but I want you to do these things." And so, even though he didn't know, he still is listening and trying to find ways to help.
Good.
So, and if I need something, I can email him and he'll email me back and say, try this, so.
Good. Good. Well, that's all we can ask right now. So
Yeah,
hopefully, we'll both have breakthroughs and we'll have another conversation sooner than later about what races we're doing. So
yeah, that would be wonderful. I'd love to do that. I'd love
I
to see
hope
you at a
so.
race again soon.
I hope so. And same for you. Thanks for your time and sharing. I appreciate it.
Yeah, it was great talking with you. You have a great day.
You too. Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye.